Good afternoon, Dr. Harry. My name is Natalie Martin, and this is my Unit 3 journal response to the case of Macy. The ethical issues that I feel are present in this case are dual relationships and boundaries. I feel as though Mikey possibly unintentionally created a dual relationship between himself and Macy, uh, just trying to help out a client that was going through financial challenges at that time. I'm not sure if it in his mind he really felt that Macy discontinuing services, like she wasn't ready to be at that transitional phase. So he tried to come up with something where both parties can still consistently gained something on both ends, but he actually ended up creating a dual relationships. And as we know through the readings, through our text, dual relationships can often create blurred lines for the helper and for the client. I feel as though by Sydney making that offer and Macy accepting the offer, he is now playing two critical positions in the client's life. You are seen as her employer. You have invited her into your home, your personal living environment, around your children and your wife. And you're also her therapist. So at some point, that's just too much closeness to your professional work, just in my opinion. I don't feel like Sydney did a lot of reflection about the actual outcome. His heart was in the right place, but his judgment may have been impaired. Reading the entire scenario, Macy had already grown fond of Sydney and viewed him as a father figure. I just feel that I don't know if it was a power dynamic present with Sydney, because if you've been working with this client for over a year, almost a year, I'm not sure as to how he couldn't pick up on that, or is there something that wasn't in the text that wasn't said? Like, it just appears that way before this came up, there may have been a cross of boundaries earlier that weren't present, or I could be overthinking. Or a professional to just bring someone in that close to their personal life, it just is alarming. And I really think that is why, in most of the readings that you have shared with us, Dr. Harry, and just generally in our text, they often push for just consultation, supervision. Sometimes it's good to just run these ideas, we have in our heads. Just to another listening ear, another colleague, just our passion. When you help for so long, I think our passion sometimes outruns our judgment in certain cases, because we really want to help. And the longer you work with clients, you do build certain rapports for them. So it's understandable that he was trying to help his client. Just the suggestion and the way that he went about it, I don't think it was the best choice. I also mentioned another ethical issue that was present in this scenario, was just Sydney didn't take his ethical or professional responsibility to make sure that the boundaries didn't cross. He actually took the step to cross them. Just that personal arrangement, definitely, as we read on, it ended up making the client uncomfortable. It ended up triggering past emotions that she in a family, a tight knit family, maybe that's something that she didn't have the opportunity to have. It just re-triggered negative emotions in the client. I just feel during this process, somewhere Sydney's perception and judgment again became very much so blurred. He should have picked up or at least thought how that situation would impact the client. When I think about mutual or dual relationships in the helping field, I am strongly against them. I'm not sure if it is because many of the agencies and organizations that I have worked for, they have strong policies against bartering, accepting gifts from clients, socializing, like adding them social media. It's very just stick to the stick to professional services. None of your interactions should with the client should exceed or extend outside of the professional environment. So I am really against that. I do understand how it can be easy um, for those type of relationships to form just based off reading this scenario with Macy. You generally just have a helper that is trying to help a client that is having a financial challenge. And when you say it, generally we help people all of the time. We just have to use better judgment. So, during the reading from this chapter, I like how Corey, and Corey from our class text, they just generally explain that it's a general rule that it's just unwise to engage in bartering practices with clients. It naturally just blurs the lines. Um, it causes misunderstandings, and it can actually lead to like exploitation, boundary violations, and reduce effectiveness in services. And that is exactly what happened in this scenario. The client got completely lost and off track. It didn't necessarily give us all the information about how well she had done, but I'm assuming that just reading in between the lines and making a suggestion that she had made some progress with working with Sydney within this year time frame. But yeah, now it is just very uncomfortable for her, and the fact that she is not able to open up within her therapy sessions anymore about what's really going on with her. That is a big indication that that therapeutic relationship is now tarnished, and that the boundaries were crossed, and ethically and professionally mistakes were made on behalf of the helper. Address this situation or any suggestions of what he could have done to avoid this. I think, again, the first solution would have been to maybe possibly give her a sliding scale, let's say for about 30 days. If this is a client that was actively engaged, we all have hard times as professionals. I don't know if he was doing a self practice or a group practice or working for an agency or organization or whatever it is. If he just really felt compassionate and it wasn't against any type of business or organizational guidelines, maybe just giving her a little small flex period or a sliding scale, or coming up with some type of payment arrangements. Maybe seeing if we can utilize insurance, or well, she was losing her job, but maybe public medical insurance, or even if it got to the point to where if I knew that the client really needed this service and for whatever reason I was not able to, we weren't able to come to a agreement over a sliding scale or an official payment arrangement where I wouldn't have to create a dual relationship, I would just have to have a challenging conversation with my client and present some more options for a maybe another agency that could assist Macy, that will probably take public medical insurance. And I would have taken the time to actually walk my client through this process. If they needed a referral for Medicaid, if they needed agencies close to their home, I just would have provided that information to ensure that the client continues to get the care and the professional help that they need that she needed. Um, Again, consultation. Speaking with others, putting a weird. If I'm at a big organization, maybe we have some type of grants or something. I'm just not aware about. But definitely doing some research and some digging, and always keeping the client's needs at the forefront. And I mean, it wasn't a horror. It was a horrible idea, in my opinion. But things like these happen. And it's good that we are, just raising our awareness about real life situations, because this can happen to any of us. When it's so easy. So in the smallest change, you trying to overstep to help somebody can turn into a big ethical issue. So it's just always great to just be mindful and knowledgeable. And in any time of confusions, talk to somebody, do some research, and ask additional questions. That's why your colleagues are there to provide professional support, and that is why supervision is important. And just to retouch on this, knowing your client, really listening to them, because I just feel like this whole situation could have been avoided, even if we have to pause on services until the client gets financially stable again or whatever. You never want to overlap across those relationships. Well, Dr. Harry, that concludes my journal response for Unit 3 with the case of Macy. I hope I explained everything and touched on all of the points. Okay, see you soon. Thank you.